It's always great to start off the evening on a fun note, and this is really a fun note to start out on. We would like to recognize Tom Blankenship as the Employee of the Month for August, and I will ask Tom and his family to please come up here, and Mr. Kyle will tell us all about Tom.
I want to introduce you to Thomas Blankenship. Thomas, introduce your family, please.
This is my wife, Sheila.
Blake, your son. Blake. I know you're all here just absolutely waiting for the GFO award this evening, so I will be very brief. Thomas is one of my best employees. He works in the Fleet Facilities Department. He is one of our lead mechanics. And I've had the opportunity to know Thomas for probably well over 25 years. So he's not only my employee, he's also one of my good friends. And he's also family because we are a big family down here. He is with his fellow employees down there probably more than he spends with his own wife. So he has to remember her name every once in a while because he forgets it. But when a vehicle comes in, whether it's a fire truck or it's a backhoe or it's a ride lawnmower or a sewer machine, Thomas is one of the ones that works on it. So he is just, the mechanics I have down there are very diverse. Not only do they work on cars, but they work on the fire trucks, of course, and everything else. So they have to be basically a master of all trades. So it speaks highly of him to be nominated Employee of the Month because he goes above and beyond what is normally called of for an employee in the position he's at. So we're very proud to have him as Employee of the Month. He is also a graduate of Trinity, as is his brother. So he was reminiscing with Mr. McDonald earlier, but we're certainly glad to have him here, and I would say stay another 20 years, but that's not going to happen. So, but again, I'm glad to have him. He's our August Employee of the Month for the city, and congratulations.
Thank you. But yes, thank you. Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Handshake.
Cheers. Next, we proudly present Dimitri Washington with us in your pen. Dimitri, if you bring your whole band down here. And Chief Brown will be.
I'd like to introduce Dimitri Washington, one of our public service officers, the lead public service officer, and I'll explain that in just a minute. Why don't you introduce your family for us?
All right, this is my girlfriend Kendall, my son Tatum. Again, the onion, the boss star. And my dad Johnny and my mom Sadie.
Well, welcome. Dimitri came to us. We kind of poached him, as they said earlier. We took him from Parks, where he was a part-time building attendant, I think, as Ray said, they kind of raised him there at the rec center. He came as a young child, played basketball there, and hung around so much, they just finally gave him a job, give him just keep him hanging around, make it rewarding for him. Then about 10 years ago, he came to work for us, and he has just done us an outstanding job. He's one of those people that works in the jail, and his responsibility is to book in people as patrol officers bring them in, ensure that those people are treated with dignity and respect, and to facilitate those people getting in and out of there, out of the city jail with no problems. And he does a great job of that. He stepped up a few years ago and said he'd like to be one of our lead PSOs, which means he is in charge of a shift, and sometimes there'll be as little as 3 or sometimes many as 5 PSOs on duty at one time. And when Dimitri's there, we know that it's run efficiently, and it's run well. The people that he usually has to deal with, not me, but the people he usually has to deal with, are people that you don't really want to deal with. I mean, there are people that come in, they make some really poor decisions. As I say, they make real good decisions, they wouldn't be in jail. And they continue to make bad decisions, but Dimitri's been able to show some of those people that making good decisions lead to good consequences. And he is just, he's a pleasure to work with. He's an awesome person to have the city, and a true servant of the public. You don't get to see him a lot, thank goodness. If you do, you might want to check the decisions you make. But just rest assured that he leads a group of dedicated people who ensure that everyone is treated with dignity and respect in the jail. Done 10 years, let's do another one and go out together.
Now we'll go on to one of the highlights of the evening. We'll have the quarterly public works report. Mr. Craner.
Yes, ma'am. My pleasure to present this to the council. As I try to do usually is highlight one of the sections, one of the groups that work for the city. This quarter it's the streets crew. And there's 14 people in the streets crew, and we counted as only 12, so 2 of us let off on vacation that day. But there's 122 years of experience in that group of men. One is Jeff Murphy, the crew leader, has been here 31 years, and one gentleman has been here 2 days. But that's quite a group. That's the largest group we have in Public Works, and they do an outstanding job. Many things that we'll see pictures of tonight, and again, we'll run through these pretty quickly. Some of the work that they've done and the department's done this year, and we'll talk about those. Some of these slides you've seen in the earlier session, but I'll go quickly through them. The reclaimed water pump station, again, it was built by a contractor, but we've had so much involvement with our water staff and the work that's going on there, not only inspecting it, but actually doing things to tie it into the system to make sure that our new customers have a system that is working well. And again, just some pictures of that station. You notice the purple, and everything is purple in this third utility that we basically have now in the city of Euless. Ross Edition, Access Drive, just some work that we've done along there while they were doing that work. Hector Drive, when you remember when we were overlaying that and doing the curb and gutter and the ADA ramps. One of the things that we've really picked up the pace over the last 6 months is doing some work in our channels. And we're required not only to keep the concrete channels clean and flowing, but also the other streams that we have working. And what happens when we don't is, this used to be a sewer line. It is a sewer line still under there, but it used to be buried. Well, the problem was, we walked down the creek one day and saw that it was no longer buried, and it was no longer not leaking. So we had to do the repair on the sewer line, and then we had to also actually cover it back up and make it where it was a crossing there that not only would protect the pipe, but allows our water to cross through that creek. And we've got a pipe that goes underneath the sewer line, as well as on flood situations that actually goes over the top of this structure. Again, another picture of that. ADA improvements throughout the city. We continue to do this year in and year out. I think cities had this program going for several years. This is one of the areas where we've done that. Our traffic folks are constantly looking at how we can improve some of our intersections. Fuller, Wiser, and Ash, we've actually come in and replaced the pedestrian hits for crossing. We've redone the striping. We've redone the signs. As you'll notice, we're doing some ramps around the school up the street from us, trying to get ready for the school openings in the next week or so. And I mentioned that we're doing a lot more stream work. If you'll notice the pictures on the left, that was what the stream looked like before we got in there and started cleaning it out, and the pictures on the right. Again, one of the things that we need to keep the water flowing, but we also need to start looking at how we can protect our streams to ensure that we don't have erosion problems for properties, as well as lose the tree canopy along this section of stream. Another area where we were actually doing some cleanup. This is an interesting group. They came from Utah. We got hooked up with 6 stones, and this group of men came in and wanted some work to do in the city. Well, we have plenty of work in the city we could give them. We put them in this stream. They may never come back to Euless, but we worked them during this time. And they did a good job for us cleaning that area up. This is an area off of over on Blessing Branch that we've worked as well. We're beginning to build some gabion walls there. The bank had eroded, and you see the playground to the right-hand corner. Eventually, that erosion would have gone and taken out that playground. But the interesting part of this, the month or so before, we actually had been cleaning this creek up, and we found this. And we've had the residents that live on this side, whichever side that is, south side maybe, actually had a cleanup day to help us go out and clean the stream after we'd done some of the work. And I think we had 25 or 6 residents out of that area that spent their Saturday helping us clean up this area. This wall will go on up, and then we'll be able to build that bank back and restore it and keep it from eroding into the city park. The street crew, this is a contract that we've hired to supplement our street crew, but they do this as well. And parks people actually help us do a lot of our trimming. This is a West Pipeline. The water repairs that we do, again, we do these, I'm afraid, on a weekly basis, if not more often. Our street crew, again, we talked Saturday, we had our budget presentation, you had your meeting on that. We talked about some of the maintenance efforts. As ugly as crack sealing is, it does so much toward preserving the subbasin and our street surfaces. Sidewalk repairs that we do not only with our street crew, but also with a contractor that we hired to help supplement that. I don't think I could have a presentation without our favorite zipper. This machine, they just love it. We've actually been able to do repairs that would have taken us many more hours to do, and do them more thoroughly. We can actually go down through the surface, take it all up, get down to the base, put it back in with that, and then come in and overlay it with this machine where we used to do it by hand. Sewer work, these guys do yeoman work, and this is probably the only piece of public works that I've never done. And maybe because I just didn't want to get into sewers, but they do a great job, and we clean hundreds and thousands of feet of sewer to keep it flowing in the right direction. Some of the service order work that we've done in this last quarter, you'll notice the red and blue dots. When we get called out, we check and we determine whether it's in the city right away or whether it's on private property. And in most cases, it's been on the private property, but we still provide a service to make sure that we know and can tell the residents what's happening there. And that's basically the gist of my presentation tonight. And again, we in Public Works appreciate your support. Any questions?
Comment, Mayor, I guess. How we talked about access Euless. I believe the manager talked about that. I believe this is a good opportunity to get totally your plug for access Euless for your sidewalks. And when people find an area where a sidewalk's coming up or anything like that, they can report that on access Euless and go right to you.
Yeah, Access Euless is a great tool, not only for any type of repair. We get them for street lights out, we get them for sidewalks, we get them for street signs down, we get them for all aspects of the work that we do. And it's such a neat system because it allows us to not only track, as we were talking tonight, but it allows us to give a response back to the citizen that actually made the inquiry. So it is a good tool.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Trainer. You'll find this evening with Janine Jewell is pretty much the star of our show tonight. So we would like to begin by recognizing her and her department with a very special award. The Government Finance Officers Association has presented our finance department with a Distinguished Budget Representation Award. Would you like to say a few words about it, Ms. Janine?
I would love to. This is the 23rd time that the city has, 23rd consecutive year that the city has received this award. It is highly looked upon by other communities, as well as it proves that we have a document that is understandable to our community. It's a planning document for our staff. It's kind of our operating guiding force in going into the new year. While the finance department accepts this, it is everybody up here, all the directors, all the administrators of their different areas that contribute towards these documents. They're big, large documents that are great doorstops or for a lot of people. But please go out on the internet sometime and check those out. We've got them posted online, and it's just it's kind of the vision of the city council going forward. So, anyway, thank you.
Items 5 through 9 are our consent agenda items, and I'll ask Ms. Gitchell very briefly to tell us about those.
Mayor and Council, item number 5 is to consider Resolution 14-1439, requesting financial assistance by authorizing an application to be filed with the Texas Water Development Board. This action will allow the staff to file an application for financing through the Texas Water Development Board for funding for the Phase 2 of the reclaimed water system expansion. The Texas Water Development Board offers low interest rate loans that we could use to fund a substantial portion of that Phase 2 project. Item 6 is to consider authorizing the city manager to execute a contract amendment to extend the interlocal agreement with the City of Fort Worth's Environmental Collection Center Household Hazardous Waste Program. This program allows our citizens year-round access to the Environmental Collection Center, which is located at 6400 Bridge Street in Fort Worth, and it also provides the city access to the Crud Cruiser mobile collection unit for the semi-annual collection events, and the rate will remain the same for the upcoming year. Item 7 is to consider renewal of bid number 009-13 for asphalt street repairs. This is an extension of a contract with Reliable Paving under the same terms and conditions as the prior year. Services will be provided on an as-needed basis and will only be billed for services actually rendered. Item number 8 is to consider renewal of RFP number 007-13 for reinsurance coverage for the city's health insurance program for October 1, 2014 to September 30, 2015 for specific stop-loss coverage. The city's current vendor, HM Insurance Group, has agreed to extend the contract with an increase of approximately 9%, which is under medical trends. The deductible and individual lasers will remain the same, and we believe that this increase is reasonable and justified based on medical inflation and our experience. And item number 9 is to consider approval of the City Council minutes of the regular meeting of June 24th, 2014, and a special call meeting of July the 15th, 2014.
Thank you very much. Any questions, council? What's your pleasure?
Mayor, I move approval.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Tompkins and seconded by Councilmember Stenford. At this time, I'll ask that you cast your votes. The motion passes. Item number 11 is to consider resolution number 14-1438. This is authorizing publication of a notice of intent to issue certificates of obligations. Oh, sorry, I skipped number 10. I got excited. Number 10 is consider authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute a second amendment to the purchase and lease agreement between the city of Euless and DSC Hockey Centers, formerly known as the Dallas Stars. Council?
Move approval.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Bynum and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Mylan Bell. At this time, please cast your votes. The motion passes. Now we'll go to item number 11, resolution number 14-1438, notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation. Council, what's your pleasure?
Mayor, I move approval.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Stenford and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Mylan Bell.
Mayor, would it be feasible if the manager gave a short presentation on what this item is about?
Certainly, this is the issuance of about $6 million of certificates of obligation. It is not the issuance, it's the notice that we plan on issuing it. It is reimbursements to the developer of the Lake Park development. You'll see the site plan that will come forward in a little bit. Part of our agreement with them was they would advance the funds for the construction of certain infrastructure projects out there, including Rio Grande and a portion of the streets and water and sewer. And once their value reaches such a level that it's paid for the, it's produced the income to pay the debt on that amount, then we would issue the debt. And so this is the issuance, or the notice to proceed with the issuance that would occur in October to do just that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. At this time, please cast your votes. The motion passes. Item number 12 is to consider a request for a temporary use permit number 14-06 CC for Jackson Construction for a portable concrete batch plant for a 90-day period it's in a temporary position for construction of Brazos Boulevard.
Move approval.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Bynum and seconded by Councilmember Tompkins. Please cast your votes. The motion passes. Item number 13 is to consider a site plan number 14-11-SP for commercial development proposed to be located on 24.398 acres in John H. Haven Survey. Mr. Collins, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. The applicant is Ruby 12 Glade Retail. Zach Knudsen is the owner's representative. John Spires is the engineer on the project, and he's got several members of his team with him this evening and would be available after my brief presentation to respond to any questions that y'all might have. The site plan that's being under consideration this evening is part of the overall Glade Parks development, a 200-acre mixed-use development that is on the west side of State Highway 121, south of Glade Road, south of the Super Target Center. There are several major thoroughfares within that development that will either be under construction. The previous agenda item dealt with the batch plant that will make it possible for the contractor to have the concrete necessary to build Brazos Boulevard that's depicted on the exhibit. Rio Grande Boulevard is the main north-south spine road within the development. That will be completed in early October. So two of the major internal roads to get you to the inline retail that is the subject of the site plan will all be completed by the end of the year. The site plan that you are being asked to consider is depicted on the grayish blue area on the right portion of your screen. This exhibit would indicate that it is properly zoned for the use that is being requested. Here's the site plan. What they are requesting approval of this evening is a site plan that would enable them to construct approximately 286,500 square feet of what we're referring to as inline retail. All of the development standards associated with this development that were approved established in the Glade Parks PD have either been met or exceeded. Just to highlight a few, one in particular would be the parking requirement. If the parking requirement was established at approximately 955, they're actually providing about 1,382 parking spaces. Let me point out something else. On this exhibit, you will see identified in green stripes the full length of the parking. Those are going to be creating a pedestrian sidewalk area that, as depicted in that specific location, you'll be able to get out of your car in that parking lot and go to this pedestrian path. This pedestrian path will be about 12 feet in width. It will include a combination of stamped and colored concrete. There will be natural drought-tolerant landscaping, trees that will be selected that, when they're mature, can provide some shade. This is among many of the design elements that are incorporated into the overall Glade Parks PD that perhaps could differentiate this commercial development from other commercial developments that shoppers that they'll be competing for can notice is a nice aesthetic difference within this center. Lastly, I might point to the aesthetics that will be provided through the architectural design. Again, as part of the Glade Parks plan development, there were architectural design vision that was adopted for the development. It would include the types of construction materials that would be used in the elevations. It would identify specific design elements as depicted on these elevation drawings. The type of stone that's being used, the metal roof projections, the tower elements, the use of natural stone, etc., are all consistent with that vision that is created through the architectural design vision that was adopted as part of the Glade Parks PD. Again, the owner's representative and their engineer is available to respond to any specific questions that you might have.
Thank you. Mr. Nixon, would you like to say anything? If you would please just repeat your name and give us your address.
Good evening, my name is Zach Knudsen. I'm the managing partner of this project. My address is 8897 Overlook Drive in Roscoe, Illinois. I first want to thank you for seeing us tonight for tonight's agenda. And whilst there's some familiar faces, there are some new ones. And I've been working on this project for quite some time. I feel like I should maybe get a service member or a service been here so much. But a couple things that I like to say, and the main thing is that we really do appreciate the city's involvement, the city's help, the city's vision, and their conviction to this project with a truly unique public-private partnership. And I can't thank city staff enough for being fair, stern but fair, and a great partner. So we are very, very excited to be bringing this project officially online. And I think you might see some names on the elevation that I can't mention, but we're getting very close through leases on about 300,000 square feet, as Mike mentioned. We are advanced stage thoughts with a very large department store, other high-end, I would like to say first-class type of shopping center users. And we are hoping to create something that South Lake is kind of trying to do. So not to the meter scale, but we're very excited with everything's coming together with how things are coming out. And for the first time, we feel like we actually have tailwinds and not headwinds with the economy. And we're just very, very excited. And again, I can't appreciate and thank you all enough for having me here tonight and throughout all the years. So, you have any questions?
I actually do have one. I love the fact that you're going to have the pedestrian walkways in there and from a safety standpoint. I think it's a tremendous idea, and I wish more centers had that. One thing, in my paying job, I manage these shopping centers, and one thing I've seen, and I don't know if you've made the decisions yet on what plantings you're going to have and especially what trees you're going to have in there, but I really caution you to look at the ones that, number one, are not going to take the roots out this way, which will end up tearing up your sidewalks, or that have, and I don't know what kind of tree it is, little knobby things that end up coming above ground immediately. Plant your trees with the idea of what it's going to be in 10 years. Because I see so many shopping center developers that make pretty day one, and then the guy that has to manage it 5 or 10 years down the road is dealing with the wrong choice for those trees. But I love the whole idea. I think it would be a tremendous project. That would be my only suggestion to you.
We appreciate that. And you know, we are dealing with the drought. We don't know what's going to we're working with city staff on different ideas, all while staying in the vision of the PD, and that's a key word here. And so we're going to lean on them for their expertise as well as our landscape architect as well. But we appreciate the comments and we'll take that into consideration.
Any other questions?
More comment, Mayor, this goes more towards Mr. Collins and your staff. Mr. Collins, we go back to level 5 of this project, and the ability to keep staff on task and SAC, part of the play in the project, starting to see some of the fruits of the project. And I, for one, am very excited to see how this project turns out. I have a lot of history with this city, and I care about what our city's going to look like in 20, 25, 30 years from now. So, and I think this project will still look good in 25, 30 years from now. So that's just more of a comment, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Zach. Council, what's your pleasure?
Mayor, I would move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Stanford and seconded by Councilmember Price. Please cast your votes. The motion passes. Service pins, because I feel like we started this back about the time I was elected in 2004. So it's great to see everything coming to fruition. Thank you. Next item is item number 14, consider board appointments for Crime Control and Prevention District Board. This is not normally the time that we do that, but by law we must have this board appointed by September 1st each year. So, Council, what's your pleasure?
Mayor, I would like to nominate Ron Shields, Councilperson Glenn Porterfield, and Councilperson Perry Bynum for this committee.
Thank you.
I will second and amend, those are for 2-year terms.
Okay.
That's fine with you, Mr. Stanford?
Sure.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Stanford and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Eilenfeld. Please cast your votes. The motion passes. Thank you to those who are serving. At this time, we'll open a public hearing and consider approval of Crime Control and Prevention District budget for FY 14 and 15. And thank you, Ms. Jewell.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the Euless Crime Control and Prevention District budget for the fiscal year 2014-2015, as proposed by the city manager and approved by the Crime Control and Prevention District on June 9th. The CCPD is projected to begin fiscal year 2015 with a fund balance of $504,367. You'll see the proposed revenues of $2,183,294, composed of quarter-cent sales tax established in 1996 for crime prevention and as well as any related interest Proposed operating expenses total $2,137,629 for police, to fund police personnel, operations, and radio system maintenance. You'll also see total proposed supplemental requests are $33,520, and this is included in the operating expenses above it. And proposed capital expenses of $185,705. If this budget is approved as recommended, the estimated ending fund balance is $364,327, which exceeds the recommended reserve level, which is equal to 60 days of operating expenses. Breaking down total expenditures by category shows that 83% of the expenses are from personnel services. Please note that that includes 18 officers. We are transferring one from the current year's payment from the general fund into CCPD for next year. It's just a transfer of personnel. You'll also see that 8% is proposed for capital, 5% for operating expenses, which includes the new proposed supplemental program, and 4% for those radio expenses. In detail, the city manager proposed supplemental and capital projects programs. Those do include shared mental health liaison, and that's with a couple of other cities in the area. Continuation of the part-time detention PSO program, as well as various police equipment needs, and as well as continuation of the part-time dispatcher program. The total budget proposed by the city manager and recommended and approved by the Euless CCPD board totals $2,323,334. This is a public hearing that was published in the newspaper on July 25th and is required by Texas Local Government Code.
Thank you. Since we are in a public hearing, at this time I'll ask if there are any proponents. Do we have any opponents? At this time, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask council what's your pleasure.
Mayor, it'd be my pleasure to approve this budget.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Bynum and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Eilenfeld. Please cast your votes. The motion passes and the budget passes. Item number 16 is to set a public hearing for August 26, 2014 for proposed City of Euless budget for FY 14-15. I'll entertain a motion to set that date.
Mayor, I move approval.
Thank you. Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Tompkins and seconded by Councilmember Price. Cast your vote, please. The hearing will be on August 26, 2014. Item number 17 is to place a proposal to adopt City of Euless ad valorem tax rate on the September 9, 2014 agenda.
Mayor, I move to place a proposal to adopt an ad valorem tax rate of 0.4675 per $100 valuation on the September 9, 2014 City Council meeting agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Eilenfeld and seconded by Councilmember Stiniford. Please cast your votes. And that vote will take place on September 9th. Item number 18 is to schedule public hearings on the proposed City of Euless ad valorem tax rate for August 26, 2014 and September 2nd, 2014.
Approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilmember Bynum and seconded by Councilmember Price. Please cast your votes. And we hope to see you here for one of those dates for the ad valorem tax rate discussion. At this time, we'll do staff reports. Do you have anything for us?
I have nothing.
Well, are you sure?
I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nothing to Mr. McCamey. Council, any reports? Everybody's quiet tonight. The only thing I will say is that if During the summer, you don't want to spend a lot of money, this is free, and that's even better than inexpensive. On Thursday, August 21st, at Texas Star Golf Course at the Pavilion, we'll have Bree Bagwell performing with an opening act called The Washers. It's a free concert. Come have dinner at Texas Star before, enjoy the evening, and listen to some good music. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you for being here, and at this time, the meeting is adjourned.